Welcome, friends. David Fisher here, your host of the David Fisher Show, where we try to get a little bit better today than yesterday. That is our mission here. So I bring you this podcast today, coming off the heels of a 2-day event out in Southern California with a dear friend, mentor, Bedros Keuilian. He had a live event with there must have been like 15, 18 different speakers, phenomenal people that have really moved that needle in their own lives, in all different types of areas. So one of the messages that I took away from that event was, well, really, to back up a little bit, I always have a word of the year or a phrase of the year. A couple years ago, it was get after it. Borrowed that from Jocko Willink. So that was my phrase, to get after it. This year it is I'm a man of action. Last year it was actually courage. This year it's I'm a man of action. Again, to remind myself that it's not about just having good ideas or having even knowledge for that matter. It's about putting those practices into action. So it was a pretty big lift for me to be able to attend this event. A lot of different people helped to make that happen. So first I want to thank you to my family. Stepped up, helped out with a lot of the different, logistics of that. Also, our members here at Fit Body Boot Camp, stepping up as well, filling in different roles. So it was a tremendous opportunity that I'm going to continue to break down some of those lessons. But one of the biggest takeaways that I had as I was reflecting and, kind of going over, what were some of my biggest takeaways is, I think I already have my word for next year, 2024. My word for next year is going to be Radiance. So it's just a focus point for me to, try to remember exactly, not only how do I get better, a little bit better than yesterday, but how do I also, keep stacking that and continue to get a little bit better than last year. So I want to dive into, what that why that resonated for me, and, hopefully share some information that maybe will make sense. And, even if it's just, coming up with a phrase or a word that's going to be part of, your top of mind as to, okay, what am I striving for? What am I, where's that target, that focus point? So, when I think of the word radiance, I think of a light, I think of warm, glowing energy. So it has a lot of positive connotations. And really, how does that, connect to personal development? That inner light from authentic living and alignment with our true selves, embracing unique qualities, values, passions, and allowing them to shine onward, or outward, I should say. So I think for me, a lot of what my, personal development journey has been is understanding that, that I do have an inner light, being able to hopefully shine that light outward. This was put to me in an analogy of a lighthouse, right? A lighthouse, helps to guide ships through the storms to, safe port. A friend of mine had a post today that was really talking about, what the light, the tugboat, or the anchor, again, as another kind of nautic metaphor in life. How are we viewing ourselves? Is there, the anchor, struggling, I'm stuck, or the tugboat, kind of forcefully pushing something along, or, that lighthouse where moving effortlessly, in harmony, towards, safe harbor. So that's really kind of how I look at, that inner light, being able to live in alignment with inner values, and really trying to understand my true self, and understanding that there is no one else on this planet that is me. I am uniquely myself, so I don't need to compete with other people. Certainly that is not easier said than done, right? But being able to embrace those unique qualities that my experience make me uniquely qualified, because nobody else has lived my life, only I have. But that really, that whole entire Radiance is built through a self-awareness. So as I've mentioned before, it's been quite a long journey of self-awareness. Some of the things have come much later in life, and understanding that it's a way to really help move me through a deeper understanding or relationship with my fellow human beings and myself. So it's really kind of like that introspection, understanding, both the, strengths, weaknesses, positive, negatives, pluses, minuses, that help to really kind of align that authentic self. And another important piece of that is self-care. So self-care takes on many different forms. Exercise, for me, fitness, obviously has been a cornerstone of self-care. Hence the Fit Body Boot Camp franchise, partnership, getting into, my own fitness journey. Really started at a very young age. I was probably about 8 years old, getting that first weight set, and, joining that gym as graduating from middle school, getting ready for high school, understanding that, fitness helped me with my confidence, and even still does today. Like, it helps me with my my own mental state, and really that self-care is essential element in that journey. And if I'm able to not only, I'm talking about my body here, but also nourish my mind, my soul or spirit, then that has a really multiplying effect on being able to hopefully inspire others. So I think of even yesterday. I was doing yesterday was 9/11, and a dear friend of mine had said, hey, look, one of the things that is being done as a tribute, people are, I think Joe DeSena had posted, let's flood Strava with with physical activities that are somehow referencing 9/11. So for my contribution, I wanted to run 9.11 miles. And as I'm out there running, I was like, wow, this is a little bit more challenging than I thought. I really hadn't spent a lot of time preparing for it. It was just one of those things that I was just wanted to do it and spend some time thinking about some different things while I was running. But I was running probably like 3.5 miles in, and at an intersection, and I couldn't see because of the glare on the windshield, but someone yells out the window, "Go, Dave, go!" And I was like, wow, that's so cool that somebody was put into my life at that moment to, again, help catapult me through, being that, hopefully that inspiration, and, doing something that is really not about me, but really about, the men and women that aren't with us anymore, that would give anything to be able to run. So it just was really a kind of a very nourishing experience to kind of recharge and foster that positive mindset, and again, hopefully to some degree, inspire others as well. So another important part of having that radiance in life is, there is definitely going to be those obstacles. The challenges are part of life, and those obstacles really can be, stepping stones on that path that helps to create resiliency, being able to adapt and overcome, right? I think I've mentioned that before. Improvise, adapt, overcome. Certainly something that has been a mantra, 30 years now, that, having that mindset of, how do you improvise in a situation, how do you adapt to it, and ultimately, where is there a way to overcome? Beyond self is meaningful connections with others. So it really isn't all about just being sorry guys, I just got distracted here, and wanted to regather my thoughts here. To try and work through this. Again, I'm going to use my adapt and overcome mindset right now, and get right back into this meaningful connections with others piece that I want to talk about, and that really comes through gratitude, empathy. Again, empathy is a little bit different than sympathy, so having the perspective of, perhaps going through, difficult situations, so that you understand where somebody's coming from, is again a little bit different than, hey, I'm just being sympathetic. So not really to get too much off on a tangent on that, but that's kind of what my thoughts were, is, that genuine desire to help others. And that it starts with that self-awareness, whether it be journaling, meditation, etc., prioritizing self-care, whether it be, exercising the mind, body, soul, and then, understanding that challenges are going to happen and being able to embrace those. And at the end of the day, giving yourself some grace. I mean, there's no destination here. It's a journey. So that's my word for next year. I can't wait to put it into play. I've already obviously started putting it into play as I've been thinking about it here the last couple of days. But right now I'm still focused on being a man of action. So I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the David Fisher Show. And until next time, in case no one's told you, you are worth it. Thanks, friends. Take care.